With the vote to buy the giant Westfield retail group for $33 billion looming, the Paris-based buyer, Unibail-Rodamco, is on the hustings to assure shareholders it's a great deal. Unibail-Rodamco Chief Executive Christophe Cuvillier will retain that position in the newly merged group, which will have €6.1 billion, $9.4 billion, in market value with 104 assets in 27 countries. Speaking from London, Mr. Cuvillier said the deal was a marriage of two great companies. Mr. Cuvillier lived in Sydney 20 years ago at Potts Point when he worked for makeup group L'Oreal, and his local was Westfield Bondi Junction, adding that while he was almost a neighbour of the Lowy family, he had never met them. Unibail-Rodamco has made a $10 scrip and cash offer for Westfield's US and UK assets, valuing them at $33 billion. One Australian investor said the deal, if successful, will crystallise future earnings and value in a shorter time period. Westfield sold its Australian malls in 2014 to Skidder Group and are not involved in the takeover. All the assets will still trade under the familiar Westfield brand. This is a very strategic and specific transaction and will create one of the most unique retail developers and owners of shopping centres in the world, he said. Mr. Cuvillier said the future of retail is split into three things: the internet, convenience and transport, shopping, and distribution. We, like Westfield, are distribution, and we will also grow the business further through residential and offices where appropriate. He added that the US retail sector was struggling particularly with some department stores. He said Unibail-Rodamco will follow the Australian malls with larger food offerings. But I do believe in the future of department stores, he said. Part of the group's 5-year business plan, Unibail-Rodamco will continue with asset sales, including the planned asset sales by Westfield of its regional malls. The group intends to establish Chester Depository Interest, CDI, listed on the Australian Securities Exchange, which will be fully exchangeable with the busiest stapled securities, listed in Amsterdam and Paris. Existing Westfield security holders will be able to elect to receive the scrip part of the offer in Unibail-Rodamco securities or the CDIs. The Lowy family will retain its 4.9% stake in the business. Investors will get to vote on the deal mid-2018 following the release of the explanatory memorandum in late January. Once completed, it will end 145 years combined reign of the Lowy boys. Current co-chief executive Peter Lowy and his father, Sir Frank, will join a newly formed supervisory board and will be the chairman of the advisory board. Westfield co-chief executive Stephen will be the chair of the One Market board, being the former Westfield Retail Solutions technology platform. Unibail-Rodamco will retain 10% of the entity, with the remaining 90% to be spun off into a newly formed ASX-listed group. James Drowan, equities analyst at Janus Henderson, said the sale of Westfield Corporation is possibly a reflection of the outlook for the European and US retail sector. While the Lowys have a proven track record, their timing to exit is unsurprising due to the high asset prices reflected by all-time low capitalization rates, or rental yields, Mr. Drowan said.